Today, so much data is generated across teams and systems. Yet getting a clear, reliable picture of performance can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Now, do you know what's working, what's falling behind, and where to focus your attention? In the next session, Unprecedented Performance Transparency via Benchmarking Done Right with AI Automation, our expert speaker will highlight how intelligent frameworks and automation can provide real-time visibility, accurate comparisons, and actionable insights without the manual headache. Please join me in welcoming Raul Valdes-Perez, CEO of OnlyBoth Inc., to the stage. Welcome.
All right. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm here to speak about a topic, as was introduced, that is at the crossroads of AI and business operations. And it's an innovation in an area where there has been very little innovation. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I have 15 minutes. And is the audio okay? Can everyone hear me well? Yes? Even over there? Okay, thank you. So the task that I'm going to talk about is benchmarking, or sometimes it's known more lengthily as comparative performance analytics. And it's not a very narrow task. There could be different aspects to it, as you will see. So I'm going to talk about a different approach that was first undertaken when I was at Carnegie Mellon University quite a while ago. I was on the faculty there, and it was originally sponsored by the National Science Foundation grant. So the problem is that a lot of the benchmarking leads to things that are not understandable, especially when you use dashboards, for example. I think dashboards are great to tell you that your car is running out of gas or that your warehouse is on fire and call the fire department. But for comparative analysis leading to thinking, discussion, persuasion, blah, 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 no dashboards. Much better is English or natural language, as we're doing now. I'm not up here to show you dashboards. I'm up here to persuade you that maybe this is a good thing, okay? So there has been very little innovation. Everybody does benchmarking the same way, and it's a task that's carried out in many different sectors. I have a Google News alert on benchmarking, and I get a ton of results every day from Google News. So it's kind of an important area. There's been very little innovation. It's used in many different sectors of commerce, and also government uses benchmarking as well. So what we bring to the table is we think we're bringing unprecedented performance transparency through the innovation that we have. And it's not just for the heck of it. It's just the idea is that performance transparency encourages improvement. That's been said for a long time, including by a Supreme Court justice in the United States. So it's a good thing when done right. He said, sunlight is the best disinfectant. And he said a few other sentences as well. Okay? So, and also there's a National Academy of Medicine article there. It talks about how people have trouble really understanding the results of benchmarking as published in the healthcare field. So, by the way, this is a PowerPoint that I'd be happy to share with anybody who requests it. I can't click really on any of the links here because that's the way it's set up technically. So, if you're interested in clicking on links, probably best is to ask for the PowerPoint. Okay, status quo. Problem is that everybody does it the same way, kind of a cliche approach. So if you're benchmarking hospitals in the country, cliche approach, okay, let's benchmark this hospital, and maybe if it's a maternity hospital, let's benchmark it against all maternity hospitals in the country. What does benchmarking mean? Here's their number, here are all the other numbers, and say what percentile you are. That's kind of the cliche approach to benchmarking. A Harvard Business Review article that I wrote some years ago is there on that link. Smart benchmarking starts with identifying peers, okay? So another problem with the current benchmarking is, and this happened to be at a previous startup that I had when I left Carnegie Mellon, which was that a common reaction is, well, and all those dots on that image you have there, we're not like those other people. That's why we're below them, okay? That removes the persuasiveness from benchmarking, which should drive improvement. So basically, performance comparison needs automation, it needs innovation, it needs clarity, persuasiveness, etc. And depending on the nature of the data, also peer optimization. Now, we mentioned AI. So the AI used here is not LLM. Forget LLM. Okay, this is classical AI automation. If I had more minutes, I would describe to you what classical AI automation consists of. It's about 6 steps. If you're interested, then grab me later before we all leave for the airport or something. Basically, 6 steps describe what classical AI automation is. It doesn't mean it's easy, okay? It means that these are the 6 steps that are taken. Okay, so the technology that we have at this point is pretty mature. Started out at Carnegie Mellon. It's been worked on for some years. And we've taken the technology and put it on display on federal and state data sets, as well as simulated data sets for anybody to see freely, don't have to pay, openly, you don't have to register, okay? And where is the location? Benchmine.com. So like gold mine, benchmarking, gold mine, benchmine.com. You can go there, you can test out, and I'll show you images of what that looks like. Okay. Why should you trust the output? Well, it's like in classical computer science. Why should you trust the output of any software? Okay? Can you verify the output of any software? And it depends on the task. Sometimes you can verify it easily, sometimes you can't. With LLMs, it's hard to. That's why it hallucinates a lot, okay? In this particular task, the challenge, computational challenge, is to uncover insights that are well hidden, okay? Because the combinatorial space is very large. If that word combinatorial means anything to you, it means there's a lot of possibilities. But once you propose an insight, it's supposed to be factual, you could hire an IT freshman for half an hour and say, please verify that what this is saying is correct, and they'll do it, okay? So it's easily verifiable, but it's hard to uncover, right? Okay. So this is what benchmine.com looks like when you go there. The main focus right now has been employer 401k plans, where your employer is large enough and the 401k plan is large enough that they have to file a Schedule H, which is a financial form. So there are about 57 or something like that, I don't remember the exact number, 57,000 such plans in the United States. Is anybody on an employer 401k plan at a semi-large company? One? That's it? And nobody else can understand what I'm saying? Okay, so you can look up your 401k plan whenever you want. It's not going to evaluate its performance for your account, but for the plan in general. Other data sets, the second one is a Texas school districts benchmarking data set. Anybody have children or nephews, nieces in Texas schools? Yes, wow, that table, Texans there. Okay, this was done as an MBA project at CMU, where the task of the students was to find an interesting data set to apply this to, and we applied it jointly. So the second one is just the Texas school districts. The third one is healthcare. There are a lot of different sectors in healthcare: hospitals, nursing homes, hospice, long-term hospital care. I'm forgetting. There's 6 of them there. Okay. And the data is a little bit old by now, but at least it shows how it's done, and someday in the future we may update that depending on how partnership evolves with us. The fourth one there is, I can't see it. Geography? Is that what it says? Okay, population health. That's data sets of all counties in the United States with many different aspects of the performance of a county. So if you want to know how your county is doing, go there, and in a few seconds it'll tell you, okay, on many different measures from federal data sets, census, and others. There are other data sets on the 500 largest cities in the United States and the neighborhoods within them. So if you want to see how your neighborhood, if you live in such a city, is performing on many different aspects, go there and you can see the same thing. Okay? And then the sixth one there is simulated data of business operations. So there are three types of opportunities, I think, for businesses. One is you're a retailer, say, or you don't have to be a retailer, but you have 5,000 locations or 10,000 locations. You're McDonald's, you have 12,000 locations. And you'd like to be able to benchmark all of them against all of them to uncover people who are doing really well and uncover and articulate how somebody is not doing well in a particular aspect of their operation. The operation could be finance, it could be employee retention, it could be anything. How long somebody has to wait before they get their food delivered to them, blah, 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 okay? So that's one. Another one is you have a very large sales force. You're a big company, you have 500 salespeople, you gather data on them, you could do benchmarking on that as well. And the third one is SaaS companies, who often their customers inquire about how they are performing compared to their other customers in using their service, okay? So all of those are there. So you go on there and you click on one. Here we're clicking on employer 401k plans. And then the 50, whatever number, I forget, 55,000, 60,000 401k plans there are subdivided by total assets. The largest one with a dollar bill is you have at least $1 billion in total assets. And the smallest one is from $1 to $1 million, and then the ones in between. Okay, so if you know the asset category of a plan you want to evaluate, just click on that. If you don't know, there's a red thing there that says, don't know the asset category, type in the name of the plan there and start typing something in, and it'll show you in what category it is. Okay, so let's click on the billionaires. Okay, and this is the typical homepage. Why are there 4 engines here? Depending on the questions you want to ask. The benchmarking engine is you want to evaluate one particular entity, in this case, 401k plan. The next to one, the comparison engine, is you want to evaluate side by side up to 10 plans. Much like in e-commerce, or when you want to buy a vacuum cleaner, you want to evaluate up to 10 vacuum cleaners side by side. So there's some novelties here in the user experience, but that's what that does. The one below that is the discovery engine, different type of query. There, you don't want to ask about a specific plan. You want to ask a plan like, say, for 401k plans, within 50 miles of my office here in Bellagio, tell me the top things that are going wrong with employer 401k plans in terms of total administrative expenses, so I can approach them as prospecting and get them to hire me instead so I can do a better job, okay? There are a lot of stakeholders in this benchmarking area, okay? So that's a discovery engine. You do a query like that, and then you get insights or you get entities back. And then there's a scoring engine that takes all the performance insights and kind of makes them into a single number. Somebody suggested that I do that a few years ago. Okay, so 4 different engines there. All right, so let's click on the benchmarking engine. And what plan, can anybody guess what plan among these billionaire plans I decided to show as an example? What's the nearest 401k plan to where we are now? No, Bellagio. And the Bellagio employees are part of the MGM Resorts plan. So I picked one benchmarking insight there, and it's public. You can look at it yourself. And this shows some of the novelties here, okay? Again, you get your benchmarking insights as a perfect English sentence, followed by supporting context as perfect English paragraphs. Okay? So what does that say? It tells you that it has the 10th highest total administrative expense ratio, 0.11%, among the 150 billionaire plans in the far west. So it's pretty high. Okay? And that 0.11% compares to an average of 0.046 across those 150 peer plans. Okay, so what? Well, here's something that's interesting to the user. Okay, if you could just be average, how much money would you save? Am I running out of time? How much do I have left? Nothing? A little bit. Okay, so you can look at that yourself, or if you want the PowerPoint, I can send it to you. But anyway, perfect English paragraphs, etc. You can use the Discovery Engine for other queries, like the Discovery Engine there. And there is, within 25 miles of Bellagio, show me the top insights that say, mention employer and participant contributions to your plan. Okay, you can do that yourself, but I'm not going to show you that because there's no time. There it is, but I'm going to skip it. You can do it yourself. Okay, here's the last slide. Okay, try the applications yourself at benchmind.com. Also see how business ops could work. There are also articles that are there at the bottom. If you want to inquire, Valdez at OnlyBoth, that's me. Valdez with an S, not a Z. Okay, and then I will answer to you. Again, last thing, the novelties here. Perfect English computes all the insights. In this case, about 650,000 insights beforehand. So you can query the insights instead of just query a plan, okay? Novel types of insights. I'll just give you one example. Benchmarking insights, typically we human beings, we come up with very standard ones. But part of the research here at CMU was to think of new types of insight that people never come up with, but are insightful. Okay, you want a business example or a humorous example? Okay, my friend Joe, only Joe, is both as handsome and as rich. Anybody as rich is less handsome, anybody as handsome is less rich. So only he is that high on both. Or only Joe is both as ugly and as impoverished, either one, okay? Make that into a business thing, and people never make statements like that because they can't think of two numbers at the same time. Anyway, I'm out of time. Thanks for your attention.